So here we go again with the most discombobulated company I think I've ever seen. And we're talking about Stellantis here. By the way, today's video is being brought to you by Destroyer1320.com. If you're looking for anti-theft solutions for your Mopar, car, truck, van, SUV, they got it. So definitely go check them out at Destroyer1320.com. Stellantis is facing a brands dilemma. I saw this over on Reuters, and I'll put it up here for you. But so Stellantis faces brands dilemma as it searches for a new CEO. So spoiler, according to my sources, they already know who the next CEO is. They're waiting to see right now if they're going to, like, they've already offered the position, but they're waiting to see what happens here in Congress today with this big, beautiful bill, which may have repeals to the Clean Air Act in it, which would effectively unleash auto manufacturers to make, it would make the horsepower wars of 2015 to 2020 look lame. And with that happening, there could be other splits where the company is broken up. But let's talk about this part so far today. So Stellantis they operate 14 brands, more than major rivals. Chairman Elkin has been basically the CEO since Tavares was shown the door. But so Chairman John Elkin interviewed CEO candidates deciding how many of the automaker's 14 brands have a viable future is a significant priority. The French-Italian company's sprawling portfolio, the largest among its peers, which mostly focuses on one or two brands, reflects its origins in a 2021 merger of Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot owner PSA. Shrinking it could reduce complexity and allow some marketing, development, and sales functions to be merged. But each brand, from best sellers like Jeep, Ram, and Peugeot to struggling DS, Lancia, and Alfa Romeo, has its fans, making which to drop a difficult choice. In Europe, for example, where Stellantis is the second largest car maker after Volkswagen, its top-selling Peugeot Marquis had a market share of just 4.9% last year, or 8th position overall. It's probably because Peugeot sucks balls. Okay, I'm sorry, they're just horrible. Low consumer recognition of the Stellantis corporate name, unlike rivals such as VW or Toyota, is another handicap. Well, it's not like you're calling it a Stellantis dealership. That's just the name of the company that owns everything. A source familiar with Elkin's thinking told Reuters the topic was a priority and that any applicant for chief executive without an idea about the brands is not the right candidate. Former CEO Carlos Tavares often said traditional automakers faced a Darwinian era where the weakest would fail, while insisting all Stellantis brands had a future. Yeah, this was that where they were like, oh no, we're giving everybody 10 years. Oh, actually, they have to the end of 2026. It's just more BS, man. When Tavares was forced out in December, Elkin moved fast to rebuild investor confidence, hurt by slumping sales and profit margins in the U.S. Traditionally, it's most profitable with the Jeep, Ram, and Chrysler and Dodge brands. You don't say. Those are your most profitable brands. Yet you want to cut the balls off of these brands, and then you wonder why you can't make any money. You can't Europeify Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Americans are not going for it. The world's fourth largest car maker globally by sales has performed less well in Europe, while it closed a Jeep-making joint venture in China almost 3 years ago and has no plans to push for a relaunch as opportunities there recede. Yeah, I mean, when China is making, $12,000 EVs, you can't compete with that. The new CEO must be ready to take strong decisions, said Fabio Caldato of Asomio SGR, which owns Stellantis shares. Okay. If I am not thinking with my heart, but as an investor, I would see it as a very positive that the new CEO is determined to review the brand portfolio. So I've been saying for a while that they were going to probably split Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram off. Okay. Now, what's funny is they could. They could end up splitting off Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and maybe, and I know people aren't going to like this, but they might keep Alfa Romeo and Fiat, like basically the old FCA, and Peugeot, and kind of let DS, Lancia, Opel, and these other brands die or be sold off, and focus heavily on and making it an American company, move it from Europe, making it an American company so they don't get stuck with EU, regulations in terms of emissions. I don't know if that would still, supplant that. If they're building the cars here, maybe they don't have to do the EU emissions. I don't know exactly how those rules are. I'm looking into that this week because I want to see how they go around this without splitting Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram off. Like literally Stellantis has no viable way forward with Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. None. Zero. And I fully expect Stellantis to announce Antonio Filosa as the next CEO if Congress doesn't get this bill done this week. Like I think when these numbers come out, like it's kind of going to force Stellantis' hand. They'll probably announce Antonio as the new CEO. I don't think they're going to go Europe as hard again like they did last time because it didn't work out, especially with Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep. Now, it could work out if they get a different European CEO, if they give Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram full autonomy. Like say, hey, Antonio is currently the chief operating officer in North America. If they kind of make Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram a sub company and Antonio is the CEO of that, and Tim is kind of like pulling the strings between all four brands behind the scenes, maybe that's successful, but it has to come back to the emissions. Like it literally comes back to, can we make products that customers want? Can we make cheap V8s that do not have MDS and all this complex emissions crap on it to bring the prices of vehicles down? If it doesn't happen, I've seen people, I've got emails and I have an analyst report that came in that I'm going to give to you guys probably later today on earnings. And the future's not bright at Stellantis. They could see bankruptcy if they don't right this ship in the second quarter. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure to go check out the sponsors of today's video, Destroyer1320.com. And as always, stay petty, my friends.